All right, all right. A little promontory to get you in the mood there for the Center Soccer Podcast. Number 5. Brought to you by the Bluegrass Pizza and Pub, located on Main Street in downtown Danville. Celebrating their 8th year, they've become an institution and were recently voted not only the best pizza in town, but also the best wings in town. And remember, folks, get your sauce on the side and take the ride. These have been fun days for Center Soccer. We recently defeated Oglethorpe University for our second SAA championship in the last 3 years. This is significant to me because if you remember, we suffered our first losing season in 29 years just 4 years ago. Since that season, Center Soccer has played in 3 straight finals, winning 2 of them, and I think we've restored our program to its rightful place. We lost on PKs in the NCAA tournament this year after a scoreless 110 minutes of play with Carnegie Mellon University. While bittersweet, our team set a new single-season shutout record at 15 with the 0-0 result. And I'm willing to guess this record might stand on the books longer than mine that was set back in 1992. And to think when you pass the ball back to me, when I played, I could pick it up with my hands. This year's team has 2 players who stood out significantly on a national level. Bailey Spade's 15 shutouts ranks him second in the nation in shutout defense. Spade is joined by Alexander Garuba, who finished 7th in the nation in goals scored, with a total of 19, just 2 shy of Ryan Garvey's record of 21 in a single season. Garuba finished the year as the SAA's Player of the Year. I was lucky to get Ryan in with his busy schedule, and this conversation comes on the eve of this year's NCAA tournament appearance. This was Center's 3rd NCAA appearance in the last 5 years. Give me a second here and I'll get Ryan on. All right, so tell us who we're talking with here today.
My name is Ryan Garvey.
The Ryan Garvey.
That's correct. I went to Center from 2009, I believe.
Oh, wait a minute. We got to get something done here first, don't we? All right.
We do.
Hopefully you like this one. I don't know if we can use the name. My sponsors would get very mad at me.
Yeah, so...
I appreciate you making the trip down, Ryan.
Absolutely. It was fun to drive down. Hadn't done it in a while. Brought up some old memories for sure. It's a beautiful drive. It was a little bit dark tonight, but yeah, I graduated in 2013, and we had a great run my senior year. So
okay, so graduated in 2013. Tell us a little bit about how you found Center. I mean, you got a little bit of a story there, actually.
Yeah, so my older brother Patrick went to St. Louis his first 2 years and then ended up transferring to Center and playing soccer here his junior and senior year.
Patrick ran into Jeff Kadrowski while studying in Spain.
Correct.
And that's how Patrick found Center, right?
Yeah. So that's how that connection with him and Kadro kind of started the whole thing. So Patrick ended up coming here, liked it.
You were a big-time recruit.
I was recruited by UK, and I basically verbally committed to play there, and was kind of convinced down the home stretch by a team of you and David Horn and Patrick to come to Center.
Yeah.
So I ended up making that decision close to the end. And,
was it hard? Was it a leap of faith a little bit?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a D3 program. It's you're looking at Division I. I mean, you're obviously one of the best players in the state, one of the best out there.
It was a tough decision. I was pretty excited to be approached by UK. I just ended up going with the smaller, more intimate school, and I think, like I said, it was you and David Horn came to my house, my parents' house, and we had a great meeting. And I think without that, honestly, I probably wouldn't have come. So,
yeah. Wow. Okay. Right. All right. Well, so tell us a little bit about who coached you at Center. Obviously, Who coached you at center?
So, hope I can remember. I know I'm going to forget some things, but my freshman year, it was David Horn was the assistant to start the year.
Yeah.
He ended up, I think, leaving basically at the beginning of the year, and Adam Boyer came in, and it was you and Adam.
Adam was going to be the volunteer assistant coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think David Horn, it was in August, wasn't it?
I think so.
Louisville came and approached him and asked him to come on board.
Yeah, so he was there during like preseason, and then I think ended up leaving. And so you and Adam, was Adam there the first 2 years?
I think Adam had been there the year before as a volunteer assistant, was back his second year as another volunteer assistant, and I think boom, he got the job.
Yeah, so that's how it started.
I think it was one of those David Horn carefully crafted exit strategies.
Yeah,
he's notorious for this stuff. I'm sure he probably had it all planned out.
Yeah, he probably did.
Shoot. Boyer's laughing to the bank with that thing.
Yeah, I still call Adam Coach Boyer.
Right.
That's how I think of him still. And then I believe James Cusack was the assistant my senior year, and I think also junior year.
Junior year as well.
So, and there were some other people in there doing some goalkeeping training, stuff like that.
Right.
I think Chris Jackson was in there my senior year.
Was actually down with us this weekend in Atlanta for the Final Four again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Great.
He's doing well. So, all right. So, tell us a little bit about where you played. I mean, we're sitting here at a men's field tonight, and the lights are on, and I don't know if you played in something like this.
So the only time I've played on this field was the alumni game this past spring. The alumni did win that game.
Yeah.
I should
oh my
say
gosh, you did win that game. I totally had blanked it out.
So
we didn't win this past spring.
You all didn't win any games?
No.
Well, there you go.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, so I played on I guess it's called the Hillside Field.
Right,
I don't know if it has an official name, but that was a great field. It was certainly didn't have all the bells and whistles, and the field surface probably wasn't as nice as this. The bleachers weren't as big, but it had a great atmosphere.
It really did.
It was sort of in a bowl, and some of the night games, especially Saturday night games, you could have a really good atmosphere down there.
Yeah.
I definitely relish those games. So yeah,
that old field has a little bit more of a feel still to it than this one does. We're still growing into this, I feel like.
Yeah, you gotta develop, get some history behind you.
You do. It's something that we're still trying to figure. I tell you, the biggest transition for us was the size. That's one whole new acre. That's an extra acre sitting out there in front of us from the old field. And it took a lot of getting used to in terms of just the space and the way we played on that old field. You can't play that way on this field.
Yeah,
it took an adjustment by the team to be able to just change how they played because again, you got a whole other acre out there to play on.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
We've been lucky to have it. Well, so tell me a little bit about your teammates, man. I mean, you were around some of the legends.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you really were. You got to tell me some stories. You got to tell me some nicknames. You got to maybe tell me something I don't know. There's something I don't know or I've heard. But, talk to me a little bit about your teammates and some about that.
Yeah, well, there's so much to say there. Just with each class is just has their own, there's each class is so unique. The players are all so unique. I mean, when I first came in, I think the senior class that year was my brother Patrick, and then guys like Alex Wegner.
Yeah, Wegs.
Definitely a legend.
A legend for sure.
You had, Pat Hall in there, Aaron Arndt, some great guys. They were all awesome to me. I mean, I had I had a lot of fun that freshman year. So, trying to think of any stories from that year. I mean, what comes into my mind first is this isn't really it's not really about the teammates, but I do remember the beep test that first year, and I remember barely squeaking by. Honestly, I think I was pretty nervous, and it was super early in the morning, but it was helpful. You had all the guys cheering you on, and I got through it. So, moving on after that, I mean, my class was.
Did you eventually become the best at the yo-yo? Weren't you first?
I don't know.
Junior year?
I don't know if I ever was.
Yeah.
I think I was in better shape in high school, honestly.
You tell me now.
But, yeah. I don't know if I ever... I think I never failed a yo-yo, I'll say that.
Well, that's all that matters.
I don't know about that. But yeah,
so I'll take you on a little side note right now, real quick, when you say that. Because you didn't have to be number one, did you? You just had to pass it.
Correct.
And you taught me that lesson. You know that, right? So do you remember when I used to make you guys run around the field? And I would try to make you run as fast as you could. And you're like, well, if you put a time on it.
Yes.
But if you don't put a time on it, all I got to do is run.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Do you remember saying that to me?
I don't know if I remember saying that. I remember doing penalty runs and not trying very hard, and I think I was just kind of a little punk. If you gain some wisdom from that, that's a good thing.
Well, so what we do now is we call them timed punishments.
Okay.
Timed punishments. And so what happens now is when you lose in the drill, you have to run the punishment at a set time. That sounds pretty simple, but that whole thing right there is fundamentally based upon Ryan Garvey.
That's good. I'm glad some good came.
Because honestly, I understood your logic in the moment. There actually was a lot of sense to it. I mean, if I don't say he has to do it in 30 seconds, then...
Yeah, that's funny. That is funny.
Why can I get mad at him, right? I can't get mad at you. I learned that lesson in that moment.
Yeah.
Now, back to the stories, though. Tell me about some of your teammates.
Yeah, so, actually, well, the class just above me had a lot of great guys. Austin Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic player. He was just a really fun guy to hang out with.
Yeah.
Top Dog? I need to get in touch.
Is that right?
Touch with Top Dog.
Top Dog, yeah?
Yeah, he's out there somewhere.
On top of the building in Cincinnati, I think.
Yeah, and, guys like Tony Disler, another great guy. So that class was awesome. Ben Van Neville out there just scoring goals.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, when he scored that goal to beat Trinity, pretty amazing.
That was in the
left-footed,
semifinals of the conference.
Left-footed.
Yeah. That was a great goal.
It really was.
And so my class, I actually just texted a couple of the guys on the way up here, Josh Settle and Andy Carroll, two guys I've kept up with over, since center, and Josh was, he was kind of like me in that he wasn't always getting along with Coach so great. And, there was always,
If Josh played as many games as you your senior year, would he have scored more goals than you?
That's a good question. I kind of forgot that he had a suspension. I don't even...
He missed 8 games.
I think, was it because of something that happened in, the last game of the previous season?
Yeah. After we had beaten Trinity, he had a little incident in that final.
Yeah, I think Josh, he may have scored as many goals as me. I forgot that he was suspended like that. He was a really good, he just was a goal scorer.
Oh, he was just like you.
Get around the box and just find a way to get the ball in. One guy that didn't end up finishing at center, but his name was Alden Royes. And,
gosh.
I felt like he
the ghost of center soccer right here, Alden Royes.
So I loved hanging out with Alden. I roomed with him my sophomore year.
So Alden today in Atlanta is playing on an adult team with Chris Jackson.
Really?
Yes, they're on the same adult team in Atlanta.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea that was the case. Yeah, me and Alden, we had...
Comes full circle.
Yeah, that's great. And you had obviously all the guys that were below me. Jeremy Carlson, big personality, comes to mind. Really good player. Robbie Tarver, someone I still see a lot. Got coffee with him a couple weekends ago.
Yeah.
I the two guys that I roomed with on the trips my senior year, especially coming down the stretch, were Jack O'Blursh and Austin Greer.
Okay.
And we always had a great time, on those trips. Austin would always he'd have his computer and like a million things set up in there, and we were just a great little trio.
Yeah.
Worked out well together. I still remember on the bus on one of the early trips my senior year, going up to Jack and saying, we should room together. Let's go get Greer. And,
right.
And it just took off from there. So those are the kind of things I remember. I don't know that I have any. I'm sure I have crazy stories, but none are coming to mind right now.
When you bring Jack's name into this, what reminds me very quickly is that at one point here, you guys had beaten Trinity University. Then you had beaten Ohio Wesleyan your senior year. And then Jack had scored that goal the junior year as well to beat Kenyon. Do you remember that goal from Carlson?
To beat Kenyon?
Yeah, it was the long
junior year.
It was right after. No, was it right after you? No. When did that game happen? It was Carlson to Jack O'Blursh, and Jack scored the game winner to beat Kenyon. Then you obviously had your game winner your senior year to beat Ohio Wesleyan. And then we had beaten Trinity your junior year, which was the last time we played them.
Yeah.
And in that one moment, Center had beaten Trinity University, Kenyon College, and Ohio Wesleyan all in their last game.
Yeah.
And you got to think you're right around all that whole part of that part when that happened.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a thing to say.
Yeah.
I mean, who else is really saying that in this country?
I don't know. Probably not many.
No, it's a heck of a statement to be able to make. It's interesting to hear you talk about Jack. Well, can you name a starting 11? I mean, is there an all-time starting 11 for you?
An all-time starting 11?
Yeah, give me the all-time starting 11.
All the guys that I played with?
Yeah, give it to me.
Oh, man.
You can throw me in goal if you want.
That's going to be tough. All right. Well, I'll just throw you in goal just so. Yeah, okay. No,
you can name your starting 11.
I heard you were a good goalie, Jen.
I did all right.
I'm not just saying that.
I did okay.
I've never really seen you play goalie. But, yeah. All right, so starting from the back, we'll put you in the net. This is going to be tough, though. So I'll put Jeremy Carlson and Tony Disler at center backs.
I love it.
Let's see. Who are our wing backs are going to be maybe Burke. Was he a wing back? I think he could play.
He could play it.
Throw Sean. I don't remember his last name.
Dunn.
Sean Dunn. Let's throw him at one of the other wing backs.
Sure.
All right, there we go. That's 5. Into the midfield. What are we doing? A 4?
It's your call, man. You're the coach.
Okay.
Probably play like a 2.
We'll do a 4.
5.
Yeah, I'm gonna
5, 4, whatever it is.
Difficult. No, so we'll do a 4-3-3. I kind of like that lineup. So, oh god, this is so tough.
It's hard, isn't it? It's funny how many people struggle. It actually is very hard.
It is very hard. Who am I gonna put? I'm gonna put Robbie Tarver at left mid.
Of course.
He's just, you gotta have him in there.
I agree.
Good. I'm gonna put. I'll throw me and Settle and Austin up across the top.
I like it.
I'm missing 2.
I
need a center mid. Oh god, I don't know. I'm running out of ideas.
No real center mid, huh?
Who could play center mid? Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know about a right mid either. It's just tough.
Got a big gap.
Yeah. Could play right mid. I don't know.
Talk to me a little bit about your favorite games, man, that you played with us.
Yeah, so, and I'm gonna try to keep thinking about that center and right mid, and if I come up with it, I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah.
But okay, so favorite games. I mean, there's a lot of games to go back to. Honestly, a cool game for me was just my freshman year when we went to Texas to play Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun game just because it was kind of a wake up call for me a little bit. It was a high level and I'd heard so much about Trinity, and they were quite a bit better than us, but it was a fun atmosphere to go to Texas. Right. So that was a fun game. Moving on from there.
Do you remember the score of that game?
I think.
Was it 1-0?
I think it was 2-0.
2-0.
It could have been 1-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that went the PK right into the start of the second half? Was it?
Could have been, but I don't remember their goals. I think it was 2-0. It was fairly close game, but it was fun. It was fun to go down there and play them.
Good crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, good place.
Absolutely. So, we had. There's a lot of.
You remember that game because it was a high level game.
Yeah. And I just remember feeling like everything was moving a little too fast for me, but you kind of need those.
Yeah.
Early on to kick up your level a little bit. So, some other good games. I think we played Emory. I think at Center my junior year. I think, and that was a fun game because they were a good
ranked
team, and they came in. And I had a good friend that I played on my '91 Javelin team. Nick Jones was on their team, so it was one of those games where
Nick. I remember Nick.
You wanted to kind of show them something. I remember I scored in that game and we won.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. Games like that where I played against players, that I had played with growing up were always fun. I remember playing against a good buddy of mine, Alex Oswine, who is an All-American.
Sure.
Thomas Moore.
Oh, yeah.
We played them, and I think we tied them.
Yeah.
But that was a super fun game.
Super good. I remember that game. That was the Bob Allen Nissan Classic that year.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
So, games like that always got my attention a little more. I remember getting super hyped for that. And then, obviously, the run we made when I was a senior, there were a lot of fun games. I mean, certainly the Ohio Wesleyan game in the tournament was so high of all that.
Is that would you say that's your most favorite game?
Yes.
That's your most favorite game.
That is my most favorite game.
And so we're going into the national tournament. We're playing the defending national champions in Ohio Wesleyan. And you are sitting on 19 goals?
Yes, I had 19 going into the tournament.
Had 19 goals going into the tournament, and the record was Carlton Shires at 20.
Yes.
Is that right?
No. I think the record, I'd already broken the single season record.
Okay.
It was 16. The career record was 40, and I had 39.
Oh, so you were just playing with the house money at this point.
I was one behind career. I'd broken through on the single season.
Right.
I think when we played, I remember the game. I don't remember.
Was it Rhodes?
No, it wasn't Rhodes. It was.
Because you hat-tricked Rhodes.
I think I had 4 actually. 3 or 4. Yeah. So but yeah, I'd broken through before that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And so we go into that game, and I got to just kind of set it a little bit for you, but they didn't really respect you, did they?
So, no.
You were getting a lot of talk.
So we went down, I think we were down 1-0 at halftime.
We went down 1-0 at halftime. And Sauce just made the incredible backside save to keep it 1-0.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
They had that corner kick.
Sauce making a fantastic save.
Yeah, makes it 1-0 at half. Keeps it 1-0.
Okay, so 1-0 at half. Second half, they 2 of their defenders, their center back, started chirping a little bit and talking to me, and just really out of nowhere. I mean, it hadn't happened in the first half, and these guys were being pretty vulgar.
There's both of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was two guys. I think one of them, had scored their goal in the first half.
And good center backs to their credit. I mean, it's not like they were bad players. I think one of them was the captain, but they didn't know who they were trying to poke either. I mean, that's also to their credit. They poked the wrong guy.
They did. So, I think
they were pretty good players there.
They were trying to get in my head, and they were, I didn't say much back to them. They were citing some of my statistics and things like that.
I remember this. They knew your statistics.
I basically just kind of said, guys, I don't even know who you all are. You're citing all my stats.
Yes.
Let's just get on with this.
Yes.
And then I scored a goal to tie the game.
Yeah.
Scored a goal in overtime to win.
Yeah.
And, they both know what happened.
Oh, yeah.
They'll know that.
Still one of the most classic pictures.
Yeah.
With them on the ground just in disbelief, and you're running and celebrating.
Yeah, that was...
In your illegal under sliders.
Yeah, my compression shorts.
There you are, forever in our locker room up on the wall. Do you know that?
Yeah.
That picture is in our locker room. Every time I walk in, I get to be reminded that Garvey was going to wear different colored shorts underneath his shorts.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And I don't think I thought much of that at the time.
It's the most... Robbie Tarver points it out every time we walk in the locker room.
You mentioned to me a couple times, that I should probably stop doing that or something, but I just...
You were not going to do that.
Yeah. So, anyways...
Most favorite game, would you say?
Yeah, so that was my favorite game. That was the most exciting... moment I had at center. It was just so exciting for everybody. I mean, I think I ran towards the stands after I scored the goal in overtime, so I don't even know exactly what everyone on the bench was doing. I think they chased me, but it was just it was great to. We hadn't been to the tournament in a long time.
Right, I know.
We hadn't won a game in the tournament in a long time.
It was the defending national champions.
It was a comeback.
Yeah.
It was just this great atmosphere at Wheaton. And, it was just the parents and everybody. It was super exciting. So, yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the mindset here. So, we've got Alexander Garuba, who is sitting on 19 goals. On the eve of the first round of the NCAA tournament. How do you think he feels? What do you think he's thinking right now?
So...
what were you thinking? Were you thinking, I can score on anybody, this team can do whatever I mean...
I went into the tournament, it was new territory for us, but I definitely went into that tournament a very confident player.
Yeah.
I was on a great run, but it wasn't just me. I mean, we had an excellent team, top to bottom. I mean, guys that have come up in this discussion, like Jeremy Carlson was an excellent defender.
Yes.
Robbie Tarver, people like that were crucial to that team. And we also had players stepping up that were, not getting a bunch of goals or anything like that, like Andy Carroll.
Right.
Great game in that.
He really did.
Game. So that was awesome. And
Austin Greer.
Yeah, Austin.
Yeah, Greer was on a good one. Remember he
passed,
balled out that whole senior year? Do you remember how well he was playing?
Austin, he passed. He sent a ball across the middle, and that's how I scored that winning goal.
Yeah.
So going into that game, I think I was confident. I didn't know exactly what to expect. I mean, I remember going out and kind of checking out the field beforehand, and everybody's nervous, but I hope I think our team had a lot of confidence. We wouldn't have beaten a team like Ohio Wesleyan without a lot of confidence, and I mean, I hope the team now and group are just you want to be confident, you want to know that you can beat anybody,
right.
But you don't want to be overconfident. There's always that balance there. So,
but
also just go into it, and I mean, it's just you don't know. You can never really know it while you're doing it.
No.
It's so much fun.
It is.
It's just you're gonna remember this stuff. So
I mean, you've made a run into the national championship game in club, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you haven't been around this stuff before.
No, I played on the Javanon 91 team growing up, and we were an excellent team that played in a lot of big games.
Yeah.
Overall, I feel like we probably underperformed, but still we're a really good team, playing a bunch of regionals. Yeah, we got to the national final game U18 just before I came to center. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, I look at a lot of similarities with this team and your team because you do have that great goal scorer in Garuba. You certainly have that great goal scorer in Garvey, but you're exactly right. All the supporting pieces are there too. There's other players getting goals. A great goalkeeper, 14 shutouts in the season. Just broke my record. Did you know that?
I did not know
I had a record sitting on the books since 1992 with shutouts in the season at 10.
What is the goalkeeper's name now?
Bailey Spade.
Did he get? I saw he got MVP of the.
Oh yeah, he's MVP of the conference tournament.
Nice.
He's one of the top 3 goalkeepers in the country statistically, and he's been. And so I see those similarities again. I mean, you had great defense, and you had goal scorers and good role players. I mean, that was the other part about it. The role players are just as important. Good leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys like Cam Miller was
right.
So I got to say, I've thought about. I don't want to interrupt you, but I've thought about that starting 11, the all-time starting 11.
Here you go.
I can't let that go.
Here we go.
I thought of one guy that I can't leave off. Well, actually, I didn't play with him, but I was gonna throw Boyer in there, but I can't because I didn't play with him. But no, so I'm gonna throw Cam Miller in there at center mid, and just throw Jack out there on the right.
Yeah, throw Jack on the right. He'll figure it out. He'll be all false right mid.
He'll whip a few balls in. So yeah, there you go.
I just got some very important paperwork to fill out on him on a background check with our federal government.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, he just went to D.C. I think.
Yeah,
to
he's
work.
trying to get some big job, so I think they're getting ready to study his entire background. See what they find. See what they find. Yeah. Well, kind of in closing a little bit here, talk about some of your time at center. Were there any professors that stood out to you that you really had a little bit of an impact on you?
Yeah. I thought about, I've been thinking about this a little bit. I would say the professor that comes to mind most, and this is probably not going to resonate with too many people because I actually, when I studied abroad in Strasbourg, France, I had a professor named Pierre Noose. I don't know if you know who that is, but so I took a class with him in Strasbourg, which was fun. It was a class basically about like the European Union, all the ins and outs, and that was fun. He was it was so interesting. That's the kind of thing that Center provides and is great with the study abroad program.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It was awesome to take a class with someone that I think he was German and he had lived in France. He was just very interesting guy, very smart. And the class over in France was awesome. He ended up coming to Center to teach a Center term class. It was a similar class that I took my senior year. I'm not really sure how I got away with taking this class, but
I'm sure you found a way.
I think it had a different number next to like the government, so it was basically the same class. I think I got an A in both of those.
Sure, you did.
That helped. He didn't grade quite as hard as the Center professors. So, but no, he stands out. He was just a funny and interesting, and I really enjoyed.
Did you not take philosophy classes?
So I took, I think, one philosophy class.
I'm surprised you didn't do a little bit more than that.
I was taking my own philosophy classes on YouTube.
Okay, this is where I want to go with this. Yeah.
During my time at Center, I think I grew a lot as a person intellectually during college.
Yes, and so now you're thinking of all the wild out there.
Yeah.
It's I'm the same way, actually, Ryan.
Yeah.
So I want to have this conversation with you here. All right. So I know you're a big AI guy, artificial intelligence. Is that right?
I'm very interested in it.
I am too. I actually very much am too. So, and you don't think it's a good thing?
I would say agnostic in terms of whether it's a good or bad. I think it could
You don't have a
be.
choice. It's just going to inevitably happen.
Well, I think it could be a very good thing.
Yeah.
I think it could be a hugely beneficial thing
Yes.
for
So when you
mankind.
talk about how it can be beneficial,
It could be bad as well.
where do you think it could be really beneficial?
Well, in a lot of areas, but you just have to think of it. I mean,
Talk about sport.
sport. Ooh, I don't know that I've thought about it in terms of sport too much, Jeb. I guess you could get better and better analytics. I mean, that's kind of an obvious low-hanging fruit thing that's already coming about.
So what do you think is one of the biggest weaknesses in the game right now?
In soccer?
Yes.
One of the biggest weaknesses.
Yeah. Where does the game still continue to struggle?
Maybe refereeing controversy,
Yes.
yellow card, stuff like that.
So why do we not get robot referees?
Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea.
It would be a good idea.
The robot referee theoretically wouldn't get,
He would never be frazzled.
Emotional.
Right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't the AI be able to process the information and make
Probably. I don't know how. I don't know.
So then, do you think that would it always say, "I just called a PK. I can't call a PK 1 minute later"?
I don't.
Would the AI get in the way of that as it processes and says, "Oh, I can't do it right now," or would it still be robotic in its decision making?
Well, I think it would just depend on what kind of AI it was and how.
Well, would you want that though? Would you want your robot referee to be just by the book? Or do you want AI to have an influence on his decision making in each moment? Because then wouldn't that just be a human?
If it's by the book and people know it's an AI, maybe that's the best way to do it because then everyone knows what to expect. They know to expect consistency. But it's interesting. You have to try all this stuff out because you just don't know how people's assumptions and their expectations are going to change with a human versus an AI and. I think you would just have to try it out and see what happens.
Well, isn't AI human in its basic form? It's the same thing, isn't it? Isn't it processing a million different factors all at once to try to come up with what you think is the right thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's commonalities. They're both processing information and showing some form of intelligence, but.
And so, would you have to trust that the computer nailed its judgment decision in that moment as it processed way more information than the human could have done? Is that how we're supposed to trust it?
Theoretically, I think if it had access to, it would have access to more information than a human. It could be connected to the internet. It could know about all the bad calls.
So you really in the end couldn't complain to the robot because he took more things into consideration than the human would have. You have to be okay with his ultimate decision.
I think people are going to complain no matter how good refereeing is because on some basic level, refereeing is subjective.
Yeah.
So good luck with people not complaining.
Yeah, good luck with people not
complaining. To the robot.
Yeah. Because the robot wouldn't care though. The referee cares, takes it personally.
Yeah, well, you never know.
A good ref doesn't, I guess.
Yeah, if the robot got advanced enough, it might have feelings, but maybe we don't want that.
And I love because we could take this forever because now our robots have feelings.
Yeah, you've got me excited.
Our robots are upset now.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden they're going to behave like the human does when everyone's yelling at them and made the bad decision.
Right.
I really appreciate you coming down, man.
Yeah.
A little bit of a trip there for you here on a Wednesday night, and
not too bad. About an hour and a half, but I listened to podcasts and music. It's just I knew as soon as he texted me, I was like, it's going to be a little tough to get up there on a weeknight, but I knew I had to come up and do it. So I'm happy to be here.
I appreciate you, and we'll leave it on this. I'm a live music guy, as you know, and. Kind of tell me who your band is. Who are you listening to?
Oh, ooh. Who am I listening to? Interesting. I listen to a lot of different music, and I can get into probably my all-time favorite band is Third Eye Blind.
Okay. Yeah.
But they're kind of over the hill a little bit. But I love a lot of their older music.
Sure.
A band I listen to a lot now is, if they come out with new music, is Coldplay. I like Coldplay a lot.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Where's your last concert you went to? You know.
It was probably. Gosh, that's hard. Well, I went to the festival in Louisville.
Sure. Forecastle.
Yeah, so I saw Jimmy Eat World play there. Who I like that kind of music, that sort of pop rock stuff from back in the day.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. So I guess that was my last concert. But yeah, you know, I have to say I get a lot of my new music from my brothers.
Sure.
Patrick and Sean are a little more on the cutting edge, and I sort of just search. I find their playlists on Spotify,
right,
and I just listen to them.
Right.
So, but I love music. I mean, there's, especially now with Spotify and these different music services, it's just crazy how much is out there. So
no, music is everywhere. It's timeless, and it's a treasure, I think. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can take you from bad mood to a good mood
in 2 seconds.
Snap of a finger.
Take it wherever you are.
Yeah.
Take anything and make it great. So, well, Ryan, I really again appreciate you coming down, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I'm happy to be here, and I wish you all the best of luck. And
you know how we are right now. We're just gonna go out and have fun and play.
Yeah.